Hi, I'm Italia Oliver, and if it's your first time to the channel, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and hit the bell notification to be notified of the latest videos. Today, I'm bringing you another audio channeling, this time from Ezekiel, a star being from Lyra who lived one of his lives as the prophet Ezekiel in biblical times. I know how that might sound. I'm channeling a biblical prophet of all things. But I must reiterate that I never plan these channelings. I channel when I'm called to channel, and the energy from Ezekiel is just what happened to come through.
And as the interviewer here, I really wasn't totally prepared for this, so I apologize in advance for the quality of the questions. When Italia goes into the channeling state, we really never know who's going to come through. So I'm asking questions on the fly and I'm trying to keep the conversation moving. In this case, I really didn't know much about Ezekiel or the Bible story of Ezekiel for that matter. We just kind of wing it and see what happens.
Yeah, we definitely just wing it because you don't know who's going to show up. So, in this fascinating conversation, Ezekiel was called to share incredible information relating to Earth's seeding and talks about the time that existed before Lemuria and Atlantis. Really, it's an Earth origin story that I doubt many have heard of or even considered. We also ask Ezekiel about his relationship with Jesus, what Jesus would think of what's happening on our planet today, and how we as Earth humans can combat the fear that plagues our world. Ezekiel also shares the meaning and significance of the Bible story, Ezekiel and the Wheel. And at the end of the conversation, Ezekiel describes the metaphorical ways in which spirit communicates with us. You don't want to miss that. It's really a powerful conversation, and I encourage you to stay to the end of the video where I'll comment on a few of the things that came through in the transmission. Now, here's the channeling. Enjoy.
Danielle is bringing forward a new energy. Ezekiel, as in Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the air. I keep seeing Ezekiel's wheel. I'm feeling Ezekiel's energy wanting to come through. I see a lot of blue light around this energy form. And Ezekiel is here to be of assistance to those who are lost and weary. Ezekiel has lived many lives on earth, including the ones that you know from the Bible. Ezekiel steps forward holding the hand of a monkey. He says the animals are the brothers to us, cousin-like, and that we must take care of them more. And Ezekiel's talking about ships, long lost ships, far away in the distant paths, those before the explorers came, ships that searched the earth for lost souls, those who needed help, that had felt abandoned in the time before even Atlantis or Lemuria. There was a small group of beings that came to your planet. They set up home here. There were 7 at first, 7 of the wise, those like warriors that came to the earth like you would imagine scouts, and they set up home here before even your Lemuria. These 7 were like a council, but more like a warrior council. And they came here looking at other planets for possible life in which they could seed and inhabit. And it is partly how your Earth came to be. And these 7 took up home, and they lived among the plants, the animals they created, the plants they seeded. And they lived many, many, many years before even your Lemuria. The 7 became 20, and the 20 became 100, and then the ships came. The ships came to see what was done, what was created. If you wish to ask questions now is the time.
Are we speaking to Ezekiel?
Yes, the energy of Ezekiel, yes.
Where did these ships come from?
Ships came from Atlantis.
Can you tell us more about your background?
I am a star being from Lyra. You may know of the eagle representing. And I have come with messages from Lyra about the seeding of your planet before Lemuria and Atlantis.
What race of beings seeded the planet?
The Andromedans. The Andromedans seeded your earth plane.
Were any other beings involved?
Yes, there were other factions. But the Andromedans began with the seed idea.
Were they opposed by other factions?
No, for the Andromedans held the highest. They decided what would be and what would not be.
So they developed animal and plant life?
Yes. From the seven. That began it all.
What were the first animals that were seeded?
The first animal was the giraffe. As you know, with the long neck. That was the giraffe. That would feed on trees and would go back to the earth.
Was there a purpose behind that seeding?
Yes, they were scouts that were beginning on Earth to see if it was worth even coming to this planet.
What was the significance of the chimpanzee?
The chimpanzee is the closest brother to the human. And so the chimpanzee, we looked to alter different makings, creations, you might say. And so began the creation of different animals, different plants, different minerals, different all types of things that came. But it was the beginning. And it began with the seed idea of scouting out on your planet to see if it was ripe and if it was in our best interests.
Why this planet?
It had adequate oxygen, water, sun, so that the plants could grow. There was adequate light. There was adequate everything for life to form.
Were other planets considered, such as Mars or Venus?
Mars was not considered. Venus had too much gas, although it was considered, but Venus was not. Venus was not.
How did you arrive on Earth? Through the ships?
Yes.
Can you describe these ships for me?
They're cylindrical in nature.
Cigar-shaped?
Cylindrical.
How are they powered?
By our thoughts. But you see, Earth humans think that it is just these ships that we arrive on. Yet we give you these words and these ideas and images. But in reality, we just appear. We appear where our thoughts want us to go. So yes, we can have ships. We can have these things and those in the creation of our minds, but we can just appear anywhere, anytime.
Ezekiel, did you live in the time of Jesus?
Yes.
Can you describe Jesus for us?
He was a common man, a good man, common man, but strength in his fortitude, strength and wisdom, wisdom that was given to him from the gods.
What was your relationship with him like?
My relationship with him is that of a brother, as we are all brothers. So when I speak of Jesus, it is his energy that I speak of. And you asked me about his time as a physical man on earth, so I answer that. But it's the energy of his being, his consciousness. For truly he is not even a he is an it, as you may say on your plane, your earth plane. He's neither he nor she. He just is.
What do you take of the religions that worship Jesus?
I mean no disrespect, but I would say nonsense. For there are too many who idle hypocrisy, for they don't live their daily life in the ways of what the dogma is asking of them. And so it is just dogma. But what really matters is what lies in the heart of men.
What would Jesus think of what's happening on our planet now?
Great sadness. Great, great sadness and sorrow. Being divided by physical form. It's silly. It does not make sense. But your human minds still think in duality, and so you see with your five senses, yet the compassion that resides in the heart, it gets sorely ignored. So the lower forms of things get pushed forward in your earth plane. But it's of the higher nature. We don't say higher as being better. It's just vibrationally. Love is what matters. And that's often ignored, very sadly.
What about fear?
Fear is rampant on your planet. It's everywhere.
How do we best combat it?
You best combat it by making a choice. You wake up every day, you decide what you want it to be. It is as simple as that. You decide. As long as you are in your own authority, of course. For being in your own authority matters. Not under the influence of any thought, idea, dogma, or any other ways that we can be under the influence. For those things undermine our own authority. So it is a choice. That is up to you. What you choose.
Do you have anything else you'd like to share with us today, Ezekiel?
There is something to that. Ezekiel saw the wheel. There is something to that. The Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the air. There is something which had become a song as well. Vision. The vision I had had in my earth life at that time. These were things to get the human minds to see things not of this earth. That there are other things that exist beyond this earth plane. Long ago, there was much more interaction with the spirit world. Much, much, much more. But as technology advances in your ways, you grow further and further away from the spiritual aspects of oneself. And when one grows further and further away from the spiritual aspects of oneself, stuck in the scientific materialism, you at the same time grow further and further away from the spiritual aspects of life. Thus, connection is harder and harder. But there are the things that do exist. Think of these things like metaphors. The ships one sees, the abductions. All of these things are really metaphors. We in spirit use these things to guide, to help, to initiate, to test. They're all metaphors, for we cannot control your thoughts. But we come to you in this way so that you may understand, to give you glimpses, to allow you to see. And in the seeing, your mind opens and expands. And when it opens and expands, then there can be more acceptance of the other. And the more there is acceptance of the other, there is more acceptance of the self. For the mystery resides in you, not us. And now that is all I wish to say at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good day.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was really quite enlightening hearing this back, because in the channeling, Ezekiel talks about the time on Earth before Atlantis and Lemuria. But he mentioned that the ships came from Atlantis. How could this be? It makes me wonder, was there already a place or energy named Atlantis in the Andromedan galaxy? And was this where the Atlantis we know of got its name? Or did the Atlanteans we know of travel back in time? Or maybe it's that past, present, and future are all happening simultaneously because there's truly no time and space. Or was there an Atlantis from a parallel universe or alternate dimension? So many questions. We also thought it was interesting how Ezekiel mentioned the eagle. Afterwards, we did a Google search, and surprisingly, we read that there's a parable spoken by the Lord God himself in the book of Ezekiel called The Eagles and the Vine, chapter 17, verses 2 through 10. It reminds me of what Ezekiel said about spirit speaking in metaphor. Metaphor is used throughout the Bible as a way to translate ideas. Metaphor is certainly one of the many ways these intelligences, these beings, speak to us. I also like how he said, we are the mystery and not them. Absolutely fascinating. Well, thank you for watching and listening, and please check out my channeling playlist. There you'll find my other channelings with my collective of beings called Spirit Song. Also, I encourage you to visit italiaoliver.com to subscribe to my newsletter and receive a free guided meditation. And finally, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I truly appreciate it. Until next time, take care.